So Mitch, thanks for jumping on this. This is really cool.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I you are like one of the most inspiring artists I've probably met. Polish that you seem to execute, and it's not just on
Mhm.
your music, on your sound, on your recordings. Like I've seen you play live. How do you get to this level of developed talent?
Um, well, first of all, thank you. I guess it's just through years of doing it and just working my ass off on, asking for criticism from, the sound techs at all the shows I play. And uh, yeah, I think busking really helped a lot with sort of, working out how to, sort of, I guess, be good because, if you're busking and someone's walking past, if you're not good, they're not going to stop. So you
Yeah,
have to get to a level where you're sort of, punching a little bit above your weight, even though you're performing on a street, just
yeah, right.
singing, whatever. So I think busking was a massive help when it came to developing my performance side of things. I
But you play
guess.
you play lots of instruments as well. Are
Yeah.
you self-taught?
So I got lessons for guitar, um, but basically everything else I'm self-taught. Yeah, guitar lessons. I had an incredible teacher who I'm actually like planning on going back to because I feel like I'm missing a little bit of structure at the moment. So I yeah have no regrets taking lessons, and in terms of actually progressing fast, having a teacher is certainly beneficial. But when it came to learning other instruments, that was more sort of like a hobby thing, and it just sort of worked itself out over time. Um, so yeah, I was lucky. I've always had a pretty good ear and sort of knack for just being able to pick up an instrument and work it out quite quickly. So
Yeah, okay. Do you feel that you're quite self-critical?
um, yes and no. So I try to stay away from being self-critical where it interrupts what I'm trying to achieve. So especially in something like songwriting, when you're being critical during the process, it doesn't help with anything because you're better off to just finish a song and then be critical of it. But yeah, I mean I am quite self-critical, and I try to, push for a high standard of whatever I'm doing. So
So when you're going through that, reflecting on improving on something, do you like record things and listen back to it? Is it
yeah,
is it other people's opinions that you value that you kind of bring into the process? Like
yeah.
how are you hearing, I guess, externally rather than internally?
Well, both of those things. Both of those things. I mean, I'm pretty aware of, if I'm playing a show, I'm pretty aware of what I liked and what I didn't like when I'm actually playing as well. So I don't really focus on it too much in the moment, but afterwards, I think about it a little bit more, and I sort of note it in my head. But yeah, no, I record things. I film myself practicing and record audio of myself practicing. I listen back, and I get advice from people around me who I trust their opinions, and even from people I don't know and don't trust their opinion, I will still try ask for feedback from them as well. Because I mean, even if their opinion's wrong, you've still got another opinion in the mix, and you can just pick and choose. And
I've seen you play, and you are, I would say, flawless. You are so slick, and this isn't just like, you're not just like a solo acoustic with a foot tapper, right? You are refined again, to such an impressive, inspiring degree. Um,
thank
do
you.
you think you're polished?
I like to think so. Um, I mean, with what I do, I sort of have to be quite perfect because, if one loop's slightly out from the other or whatever, it can
Yeah.
all very quickly go downhill. So when I'm playing live, a lot of the songs I play as well, I've played them so many times that they've become muscle memory, and that
Yeah.
it's like almost impossible for me to screw up. I say almost because I'm only human at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, like quite a few of my songs, I'm like very sort of confident that I'm like, when I play it, it's going to be, yeah, very, very sort of tight.
Yeah, yeah. And so you cover like the whole spectrum of instruments on stage. Is that something that you've done because you got sick of relying on other musos, or is it a way for you to just kind of have that total control?
So I mean, look, I've always played with other musicians. Like I play. My two best mates are musicians, and I've always jammed with friends and the whole thing. But when it came to my own music, I sort of started performing before I knew anyone else, and um, I don't know. I just sort of it was just sort of how I started doing it. I didn't have anyone else at the time. I used to be a massive fan of Ed Sheeran, and then I got into Tash Sultana, and then uh, I wanted to learn how to do that, and that's what sort of, I guess,
Yeah,
started the way I play live now still. Um, but yeah, I mean, I definitely plan on getting a band at some point, but at this
yeah,
point,
right.
it works quite well, and especially when touring. I mean, touring's fucking expensive.
Yes.
Um, and I also feel like if I were to ever get a band, it would have to be like the right people. They'd need to be
Yeah,
on. So because I'm so picky about it, right? Otherwise, I'll
totally.
just do it by myself.
Your sound itself, and you're talking about songwriting and the process and not kind of getting in the way of the songwriting process. I feel like you've got a very unique, a very Mitch Santiago sound. Is that something that you've heard in your head and you've just sort of dug and dug and dug to kind of create that? Or is that something that's more sort of stumbled upon?
Um, Look, so there's parts of it that are very thought out, and there's parts of it that are very, I don't want to say calculated, but yeah, there's definitely parts where I'm extremely inspired by other people, and I'm almost, you know, sort of trying to copy what they're doing, or I've just always listened to a lot of different styles of music, and I guess through that, that's the best thing you can do, right? So you just developed a complete unique blend of
Yeah,
sounds, and because you might be doing this style this with like a blues guitar solo with this style drums, and it's like everything, you just get a unique thing. And sometimes that's for better or for worse, because sometimes it can go a bit crazy. But I'm also very lucky with uh, the producer I work with now and have been working with since I released my song Out For You. Um, I'm very lucky with him. I completely trust his opinions. When we're in the studio recording together, we just make crazy sounds, and we sort of break heaps of rules. And
great.
I guess through that, that's where you create a unique
Yeah,
sound, and have sort of, yeah, dug for quite a while to find a point where I'm very happy with my sound, and I have achieved that, but it's always changing. So,
yeah.
like the single I'm about to release, or I don't know when this is coming out, but it might
Band-Aids,
be
yeah.
released by then, um, is sort of a different direction, and that wasn't intentional, but we just sort of wrote it out.
When was the last time you released a single that Triple J didn't absolutely froth over?
Well, I mean, so they don't. Well, I'm very lucky to get as much support from them as I do. Totally. Um,
It's
but
warranted success, though. It's warranted.
oh, thanks, man. So I think basically every song of mine since Out For You, maybe except two, have got a first play, which is where they basically premiere your song.
Yeah,
And um, but then when it comes to actual like rotation and getting a full add to what they're playing, um, it's sort of like every second song I get on rotation. So,
yeah.
um, I mean, even that though is crazy, and yeah, I'm very, very grateful to them and for all the support they've given me. And
How many
yeah,
songs do you mentally write or kind of create and then cut? Like, how many songs do you write that you don't kind of develop?
up until like last year, I wrote very little. I wrote very little. The year before that, I was sort of very lucky in that I wasn't writing a lot, but what I was writing was super high quality. Like I would write one song and that would be the single, and then I'd go write another song and that'd be the next single. But I've worked out that doesn't work long
Yeah.
term, and that's totally not a sustainable practice. So when I got back from Europe last year and I just released Talk to Me, Home and in Love was about to come out. I set the goal because I finished school around that time as well. When I got back to Perth, I was like, okay, I've got like 9 months, 9 months of no gigs. And I was like, I need to write this many songs. I think I ended up writing maybe probably 30 or 40 songs
Yeah.
in
Wow.
that time. And like I did a 12-day trip at the start of the year where I wrote 12 songs on. So I mean, I remember like it wasn't every day I was writing, but there was one day where I wrote like 3 songs in the one day. So I've sort of started writing a heap just because I want to be releasing the best music that I possibly can. And yeah, I've started working away heaps at that. So, I mean, to get to Band-Aids, to get to that song, or I guess what is coming out after that, that's like 40
Yeah.
songs.
Do
So
you ever release a song and it's as best as you can get it, but it's still not like there's parts in that, like, we hear this, like your music, and it's just talented, right? It's flooded with talent. But do you ever release a song and there's still like a part here or a part there you just like it grates on you a little bit, or do you release a song and go, nah, that is 100% dynamite?
look, I don't think I've ever released a song that I haven't been completely happy with.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, no, I try to, polish it off as much as I can beforehand. Well, I mean, the thing is, I won't release a song if I'm not completely happy with it. I'll push the date back as much as I need until it's like, this is awesome. Let's
Yeah.
leave it.
Great.
And again, working with my producer, it's very easy. He's insane, Andy Lawson. So yeah, we
Yeah.
work super well together, and we work pretty quickly now as well. So the turnaround from getting it from recorded to perfect is quite quick. See,
Yeah.
we have a lot of the same tastes. We have a lot of different tastes. He knows what I like and what I don't like, and um, because I also have a very sort of deep knowledge in the production and recording side of things, we talk a lot about
Mm.
that throughout the process as well, which certainly helps out with the getting a polished end result.
I'm gonna dovetail here, segue across now. Um, you are what I feel like would be in an incredibly envious position. You're a very successful, like national dregs tour, lots of Triple J airplay. Your top 3 songs have just ticked over like 4 million streams on Spotify. Um, like, first of all, huge congrats to that, because there
Thank
are so many musos that like that is pinnacle goal, that is stretch goal kind of territory.
totally.
Um, how does that sit with you, with how you kind of, I guess, reflect on that, but then like push for the future?
Look, so when it comes to I'm sort of very unaware about my sort of numbers side of things. It's not really something that I um, ever really think about. I mean, I celebrate the fact when I do see the numbers, but I very rarely like go looking for, oh, how many streams has this got now? Um, because I it doesn't really give me the kick or the satisfaction that I'm actually looking to get out of what I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
Um, but when it comes to something like touring and playing shows, that's like an instant win. That's like something
Yeah.
you can celebrate like when you're there because you're in front of however many people. Like the biggest show we played on that Dregs tour last year, I think was like 2.3K. So like
That's huge.
insane, super fun shows. I mean, and anything over like 500 people, you know, or however many, like a crowd can feel good if it's 50 people, if it's a good room. And so, you know, that's a complete blessing being able to get something like that. And obviously, I celebrate the Triple J wins quite a lot with my team, because that's that sort of thing is like it's a big sort of help when it comes to growing and building an audience and a fan base and whatnot. So, you know, when we do get a rotation ad or a first play or whatnot, we're very, you know, grateful and
Yeah.
very happy with,
Yeah.
you know, getting that support from Triple J being, you know, the biggest source of great
Huge.
Australian music. So,
Huge. So how do you like you mentioned like Spotify streams numbers don't give you a kick. Like what's the goal? Like do you have a defined goal?
look, so I mean, I just sort of take it as it comes. But when it comes to goals wise, I mean, I just want to be touring all year round, making music that I love, recording music that I love, and writing heaps of music. And I mean, as a musician, that's sort of all you can really do, right? As well as, you know, sort of I've put a big focus on trying to stay on top of the social media thing to try, you know, grow and engage more people and everything. But when it comes to long term, I just want to be, you know, touring all over the world, festivals, shows, writing heaps of music with other people, you know, and just sort of scaling up all that stuff.